Welcome to Private Club Radio, your weekly source for industry education, news and discussion. Broadcasting from Tampa, Florida, ladies and gentlemen, here is your host, Gabriel Aloisi.
Hey, welcome to Private Club Radio episode 146. It's almost hard to believe we've done this show now for 146 weeks straight. We've also just crossed over the 50,000 unique listener mark. 50,000 people around the world have tuned into Private Club Radio. And I'm just so floored, so honored by that. And I just want to thank all of you who have tuned in here weekly. I know we've got a lot of folks that listen every single week, and that number is growing every week. And I appreciate the time that you put in. And it shows that you care about what you do, this industry. You want to move your career forward. You want to move this industry forward. So I just want to honor you and thank you for being here with me. And hopefully we're going to have a lot of fun for many, many, many weeks, months, and years to come. This week's guest is Mr. Andy Brown of the Toro Company. He's going to be talking about how your club can do more with less, which I think every club out there is looking to do. He's going to talk about some of the innovative technology that is coming out in the world of agronomy. And for someone like me who knows basically nothing about agronomy, I find it incredibly fascinating. What Toro is doing is saving this planet's resources, and you're going to learn all about that on this episode. So make sure you share this episode with your director of agronomy or your head greenskeeper, or heck, even the whole maintenance crew. You're going to get a lot out of this one. Without further ado, here is my chat with Andy Brown. My guest today is Andy Brown, Senior Sales Manager for Europe, the Middle East, and Africa with the Toro Company. I met Andy last year at the European Club Leadership Summit in Belfast, Northern Ireland, and we're going to be doing it again this year. It's happening at Ascot Racecourse, and I'm really, really excited to have Andy back on the show. We had a fascinating discussion last year and want to do it again. So, Andy, how are you, man?
Hi, Gabe. I'm really well. Good to hear from you again, and looking forward to the summit this year. I think it was a successful one last year, and I think everything looks as though it's going to be another interesting group of people coming together to have the discussions which on the main theme of sustainability this year. Yes.
So that's exactly why I wanted to have you on the show. I know sustainability is a hot topic in terms of clubs, not only in the U.S., but worldwide. And I wanted to get your perspective on what some clubs are doing in terms of sustainability and how the Toro brand is helping them achieve those goals, Andy.
Well, you're right. I mean, sustainability in all its forms is a topic of conversation that we have and are having all the time with our customers. Sustainability, of course, means from an environmental perspective, but for many clubs as well, it means economic sustainability. And the ability to make sure that they are able to provide the quality of the experience that their members and guests expect or would look for in combination with the environmental responsibilities that they have at the same time. So sustainability comes in many different ways, and the discussion will change depending on which area they are focusing on. But in the end, it's a balance, and sustainability is about a balance of economics, a balance of efficient operation, and then with the environmental responsibilities as well.
So let's talk about some of the technology that you guys are introducing at the Toro Company in helping clubs achieve some of these goals.
Well, the conversations that we have with our customers drive pretty much all of the innovation that Toro is well known for in this area. We spend years and having continual discussions with everybody from the operation within a golf course. So the greenkeeper, obviously, the superintendent, the club manager, the shareholders, the finance directors. We talk to everybody because they all have a slightly different perspective on what they believe is required for the success of their particular golf course in the location that they're operating. So it's important that we don't believe that we have all the answers. Although we have over 100 years of experience across most markets, that doesn't mean to say that we see everything. So we spend a lot of time talking to our customers to try and understand what are the problems they're facing today, and how has that changed? What are the challenges that they believe we can help with? And in fact, often we find that we can help them in areas that they had not anticipated. So that is always a very interesting part of my job. I spend a lot of time involved in those conversations, and it helps us direct our senior design teams and senior management in looking at where we should be investing. So a good example is over recent years, we've brought to fruition a project which I remember starting or seeing start nearly 20 years ago. I'm just entering my 20th year with Toro now, which, by the way, seems to have gone by in a flash.
I bet.
And, right at the beginning, there was a project that was looking at how we could, if you like, redesign that most basic of pieces of equipment, the tractor. Now, it's gone through various iterations over the years, but we have now just launched a product called the Outcross 9060, and that really is a complete reinvention of the tractor. I mean, obviously, the tractor does some very basic things. It pulls things, it carries things, it lifts things, it pushes things, but that's about it. And it is often used very sparingly on a golf course. They're not built for fine turf environments, so obviously pulling things up and down the mown playing areas can be a challenge at different times of the year. So we were conscious of needing to produce something that was turf friendly, but at the same time we wanted to bring out something that would be used far more frequently than the standard tractor. So instead of just doing those basic functions, it would also be able to take a variety of different accessories. Now, of course, tractors can lift things and you can use them with aerators. But what we thought we would do is actually, if you like, link the intelligence or bring together a two-way communication between the outcross vehicle itself and the accessory, so that they knew what was attached, the outcross knew what was attached to it, and would therefore control its own transport speed and other parameters, so that the accessory would perform correctly. So what you can do is preset the parameters for a particular accessory. So when it is plugged in and connected, the outcross will only operate within those parameters. That means that almost anybody can get on this machine and operate it safely with very little instruction. So now all of a sudden, not only do you have a machine that can do a variety of different jobs, you can now use it across a wider part of your workforce, which can also make you more efficient as an operation. So we've just produced this, just launching it this year, and already the feedback from customer trips that we do road shows around the world with this machine, the feedback has been incredible, and we believe this will help many clubs take on a product like this, relinquish maybe a couple of their tractors, and have something that will give them far more productivity.
Yeah, that's just one example of doing more with less, and every club around the world is trying to do that. What are some of the other products like that enable clubs to do more with less resources?
Well, the interesting thing, I talked about before that, Toro is, renowned for, if you like, innovating and pushing technologies forward and using technologies, and that very much is the way in which we operate. We are the largest investor or reinvestor of profits into research and development in our sector. We have very high expectations of the percentage of our sales that are linked to new products. So we push all the time to introduce new technologies. But at the same time, we also recognize that not in all circumstances are these new technologies appropriate. So we've also been producing and launching in this last couple of years products which sit, if you like, at a slightly lower level in terms of technology, for those places where the highly sophisticated electronics maybe aren't quite so appropriate, because we are looking to supply products and problem solving products for everybody, and not just for those that can afford the highest levels of technology. So, for instance, we're just producing a tow behind rotary gang mower, which can go on the back of a vehicle and be taken down the fairway, which will still give a very high quality of cut, but does not, it is not a standalone machine with its own tractor unit. So that, for instance, is something that we've also recognized we needed to do. But in terms of new technologies, Toro has always focused very much on its agronomic capabilities. In other words, we are looking to help the superintendent and the greenkeeper produce the highest quality of turf that they possibly can, which means that part of our research has gone very heavily into agronomy and understanding the variability of turf health across a golf course or any sporting or landscape environment. We produced a machine called the Precision Sense a number of years ago, which was basically a mobile machine which was towed behind one of our utility vehicles, and it would take multiple sense data points using 5 different sensors across, for instance, a fairway. So it would take compaction readings, it would take soil moisture, salinity, temperature, it would do a topographical survey as well, and then at the same time it would take measurements of turf health. Now what you were able to do then is to produce maps of the golf course showing all the different variability within it on those parameters. Now that's a really good thing when you are building a new golf course, or if you're looking at an existing golf course that you're wanting to understand how to manage it differently. So for instance, if you've got different fairways that have different levels of compaction, instead of taking an aerator and doing a blanket aeration program across all parts of the golf course, which can take a long time, you can just focus on those areas which need the most attention. So again, that speeds up the activity and also reduces cost.
Wow. You're actually incorporating some drone technology into this
that's
as well, right?
Yes. I mean, the next step then was how, once you've done that basic survey, it's a case of, well, all right, how often are you going to redo that survey once you've started to, if you like, introduce some of these new management techniques? Well, because it can take a day and a half to do a survey on the ground and do that baseline survey, it's not always appropriate to bring that machine back to a golf course and do it again. So we've partnered with a drone company in the US who are also experienced in using sensors to monitor turf health. And with our joint experience and expertise, we will very soon be able to bring a drone to your golf course and do a flyby survey, which will also take very accurate readings of turf health. Obviously, it won't be taking readings of compaction and soil moisture so much, but it will be taking verifiable turf health readings, which you can then mirror with your precision sense survey, which would have been done as the baseline, if you like, and you will be able to see much more quickly and much more efficiently the response of the turf to your agronomic activities. So that's quite an interesting use of obviously drone technology, which we're all familiar with, and the increasing use of drones is there for everyone to see, and we felt that there was a space there that could be very beneficial to our customers.
It's fascinating. And so how long does it take to put a reading together like that? Like, how quickly can you get those data points and actually figure out what the plan should be?
Well, as I said, the actual precision sense survey can take round about a day and a half to do 18 holes, but the drone survey can be done in a matter of minutes, in the sense of how quickly it can fly across the fairways and get around the golf course. So you certainly be able to do it in a matter of hours as opposed to a day or more.
It's incredible. It's incredible how technology is affecting everything in our lives, and why should golf course agronomy be any different, right?
Well, no, you're absolutely right. And, of course, the big thing that's really been hitting Europe this year has been the prolonged dry spell that the whole of Europe experienced. The best part of 3 months of well below average rainfall across Northern Europe, right the way down through Southern Europe and obviously across towards the Middle East. And as a result, irrigation systems were put under significant stress to maintain the turf. In some circumstances, water was actually restricted, so irrigation was limited to the greens and the tees only. So fairways were not allowed to be irrigated, and as a result, many golf courses effectively lost their fairways this year. So the challenge for those clubs now is, what do they do going forward? Of course, grass is one of the great survivors, and of course it does come back, and you can almost guarantee that it will come back in some form or another. But of course, it won't necessarily come back with the purity that the original fairway had.
Right.
And so you've got some decisions to make. And so part of our responsibility, if you like, is to work with our customers and help them make some decisions. I mean, obviously, aging irrigation systems probably do need to be invested in for introducing new technologies, particularly more efficient sprinkler heads, better designed systems, and technology, central control technology, which allows you to now control sprinklers down to the second rather than 30 seconds or even a minute. Because you can imagine that if a sprinkler needs to stop after 3 minutes, but it physically doesn't stop until 3.5 minutes, if you multiply that across a whole golf course, that's a lot of additional water that's put down unnecessarily.
Right.
So with our new links control system and decoders and satellites, you are able to now control those sprinklers down to the second and reduce water as a result. I mean, a good example of that is at the Golf National, which your listeners will be familiar with, was the host of the Ryder Cup in Paris this year. We helped them with a complete new irrigation system in the run-up as part of their renovation program prior to hosting that event. And with the Lynx software, the Infinity Sprinkler, and a very modern and accurate design, that system, which was in full use because of this dry spell in the run-up to that event, actually helped them save something in the region of 30-35% of the water use that they had been using with their earlier system.
Wow. That's incredible. That's incredible. I could use it in my own yard, actually, Andy, because I keep looking at my water bill, keeps creeping up, and I could use some technology like that.
Absolutely right. I mean, we're talking today predominantly about the golf industry and obviously other sports as well, where there is the money to invest. But, a large part of our growing business across the world is focused on other landscape areas and in the domestic area as well. So, we are applying these technologies into those regions. So, you can put your own soil moisture sensors in your lawn at home and have it linked up to the control system that will automatically reduce the irrigation that you apply based on the soil moisture in your lawn.
Yeah, it's fascinating stuff. If folks like me who are kind of technology buffs and geeks and, or people who are hardcore agronomy folks and want to learn more about some of these technologies, where's the best place to direct them? Do you have some videos and some trainings on your websites?
Yes, absolutely. Toro.com is always a good place to start. There are a number of micro websites that can be linked to from there as well, which takes you to specific areas of interest. There's also a Toro YouTube channel as well that you can go to, where we post a lot of interesting case studies as well from different customers and environments that we're operating in. So there's a lot of information out there. But as always, if you've got a local Toro rep that you are familiar with, he or she should be able to direct you and give you some good information about things that you're interested in.
That's fantastic, Andy. And if folks want to reach out directly to you, what's the best way for them to do that?
Well, as with most of my colleagues, on the road a lot, but the emails always mount up. So andy.brown@toro.com is always a good way to get hold of me. And I'll certainly be happy to respond to anybody that reaches out, and I can put them in touch with people in their local area that can help them on the ground.
Andy, as always, I really enjoyed our chat today. I'm looking forward to seeing you again at the Club Leadership Summit in Ascot Racecourse, just outside of London, November 4th through the 6th. And I hope some of our listeners will join us there. Andy, thanks so much for being on Private Club Radio with me today.
That's my pleasure, Gabe. Look forward to seeing you very soon.
I told you that was going to be a really good one. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. And I hope you'll catch us back here next week on another edition of Private Club Radio. Until then, here's to your membership success.
Private Club Radio is brought to you by Concert Golf Partners, helping to preserve and enhance private golf and country clubs. Concert Golf has the capital, expertise and private club hospitality experience to help upscale private clubs achieving long-term success and membership growth. For 25 years, Concert Golf has allowed private club members to focus on simply enjoying their club. Visit concertgolfpartners.com to learn more about the recapitalization process.